Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew. That guy's name is Ryan. We are back again. What is this? Episode 9?
I think so.
Holy shit. I'm freaking out. The last episode, very good. But like, I was kind of shitting myself because just 3 different people and trying to balance everyone, make sure everyone gets heard. So I think this time, we can chill out a bit. Me and my boy Ryan. What's up, Ryan? I'm talking too much.
I'm gonna guess that I passed my interview, considering I was asked back for this episode. Danny didn't quite take my place.
Ryan, I completely blackballed you there. That was me absolutely trying to get into your head just to make sure you were really devoted. I had previously discussed this with Danny.
Yeah.
And after the call, I called him up and we both agreed you did very well. So everybody listening right now, Ryan's got the job. 9 episodes in and he's finally secured the job.
I'm not an interim host anymore. Fully, got the job down. Happy days.
Absolutely. So Ryan, before we get into any of the topics now, what's going on? How was your week? What's your mental health like currently?
You know what I did this week?
I don't know.
I did a fizzy drink burp.
What? No way.
For the first time in a long time. I don't drink many fizzy drinks.
No.
And I did out. My missus was pouring some 7-Up the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that looks whopper. Here's a bit of that." And I had a glass. Yeah. And I was like, I just did a fizzy drink burp, and I forgot how nice they are.
It's pretty. Pretty.
A
cathartic.
proper, one of them fucking things.
Like a bruh.
I can't fake burp.
This is my best burp impression. Burp.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So one of them. That was good. That was good, man. I give that.
That's kind of like a Homer meme.
That's a burp.
Burp. It's like a bruh moment.
But I can't remember the last time I had a fizzy drink. I can't remember. I usually just drink tea and water.
As I gotten older, I always say that like I'm 36.
I know.
But I'm 22. So, but I feel old. I feel old in my head. But I've noticed as I get older, I'm much more on this buzz of like flavored water and like bubbly water with like mixing something into it. You know, as in, I don't know. We don't drink fizzy drinks at home really. The most we drink is like sparkling water, and then you put a bit of like my waddy in it, and that's just a cheap ass soda.
I'm not a big fizzy fella in general.
You just don't like the carbonation.
Yeah, I'm not. I know. I love a good cup of tea, and I love nothing could beat water. Just water on its own. But like any like flavored water is fine. Like a bit of my waddy in it, a bit of my bean.
Yeah.
That shit. But like any kind of like carbonated water and like sparkling water, no thanks.
Yeah.
Like
I will say that like Volvic did water, like all those flavored waters, like lemon and lime and strawberry and stuff. And admittedly, after like maybe the 3rd good gulp, I was like, I kind of wish this was just normal water now. This kind of sucks now.
Exactly.
But I do know what you mean. Like I got one of those like metal bottles because I was just like bringing glasses of water upstairs all the time. And then my dad got me like a cheapo metal bottle from like Aldi or something. And I've had it for like 6 months now, and it's just the best. It always keeps the water cold. I don't have to fucking keep refilling it all the time because it holds more than just a glass. This is what lockdown has done to me. This is what lockdown has done to me. Now I'm like, bottle. I love it.
I'm excited about a bottle. That's what lockdown's done. That's how bored we are.
Just like we bottle this show every week.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Well, what have you been up to this week, man? What have you been up to?
I could give the funny answer, or I can just say the honest answer, which is avoiding college work. I'm finished college now. I'm actually done, Ryan. I had my last lecture. I had my last lecture on Thursday. So now it's just finishing up the work, getting ready for the internship. But like that's it. No more college. Like no more classes and shit. You know what I mean?
Happy days, man.
I gotta say,
we're doing this full time now.
I gotta say, holy shit, this year has been atrocious. I don't know if anyone listening is going to college right now or has just finished or whatever the fuck, but any college student will tell you it's been a farce this year, or this semester at least. It's been 100% of the fees. I have had no access to any of the computerware, software, computer lab, camera equipment, studio equipment. They had full studio lights, proper like RTE cameras, all that kind of shit. And I couldn't touch couldn't get my little grubby mitts on any of it. And that's kind of sad. And I didn't get to see any of my friends. And that's kind of sad. But at the same time, I'm done college now. Kinda. I don't have to
Happy
do
days,
I
happy
don't have to
days.
do academia anymore. And like
I really felt
sucks.
for like third level, students because there was all this of like primary schools and they're leaving cert and all this shit, and there was literally no talk
No,
of third level education at all.
I
No one
can't
really gave a
I
fuck.
can't remember what
And
her
you meant to
name
like
is.
you got your, and then they tried to do it. I don't know what lockdown it was when they tried to like incorporate or try to integrate like live lectures with also online lectures, and you were
Oh,
getting your like your timetable where it's like, oh, you have a live lecture at 9 o'clock, and then you have like a Zoom one at like half 9, and it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? Like,
how am
how
I
am I
supposed
supposed
to
to
get
get
fucking get
from,
home? Like,
yeah, or like the other way around, you have like a live a Zoom meeting like in the morning, and then one at like one. It's like I have to travel into me fucking college to get to my live lecture. Like, just
and like I'm coming
awful.
from for any locals, like I'm coming from Swords to DCU, so that's easily a 40 minute to an hour bus ride. So I don't know what the
Hmm.
fuck they want from me. But
Yeah,
also, even like
I don't envy
no,
anyone doing
no.
college right at the moment.
Even like the first I don't envy people doing fucking exams,
Yeah,
especially online
full stop.
exams and shit. Fuck that. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, the college like no, actually it's gone. It's man, my brain is on such a like tight like loop circuit right now. If I haven't said it within 8 seconds of thinking of it, it's gone forever. Anyway, I
Hmm.
could piss and moan about college forever. It's really properly sucked this year, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of glad it's done. So bittersweet. Anyway, all my college students out there. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Fuck. Um, my parents then and my because my granddad's a teacher and all, or was. They're all saying, so what's after this, Andrew? Are you gonna go into the work? Are you thinking about doing a master's, maybe? Maybe a master's in business or maybe my marketing or finance. And I just cannot tell them I hate academia. I've been in school for like 16 years. I, I really just want to enjoy my life, you
Yeah,
know?
man, that's it. At what point is there a payoff for all the fucking work you've been doing? That's the one thing I never liked about the idea of like primary school, then school,
Yeah.
secondary school, and then you have college, and then you do your masters or your fucking PhD or whatever, and then you go into the work. But at what point do you actually enjoy your labor? You know what I mean? And then like,
Yeah.
oh, you get to retire, and when you're fucking 60, 70, that's when you enjoy it. When
Mm.
you're half dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like great fun.
Yeah. It's
These are the
like
years when you should be doing
if
it.
I'm
And of course, don't be acting the bollocks and still
no.
keeping, but especially now, like you're people are going into college and stuff when they're like 18, some of them younger, 17, and it's like you're a completely different person in the next 2, 3. Like I look
Oh
back
yeah,
now,
for
like I'm
sure.
22 now, and I look back at stuff I was doing when I was 17, 16. I'm like, what the fuck was I at? And I
That's
like
the thing.
stuff that I had in a plan of like, oh, I want to do that in the future. And look back now, going, you are a moron for thinking that,
At the
right?
time of thinking like I mean, we didn't have a super high opinion of ourselves back then. Like we were modest enough, I like to think. But it was just it's hilarious now, as you say, like I'm at 22 and I think about 17, 8-year-old me, 18-year-old me. And I would man, if I met him in public, him being me, I'd fucking smack him. What
Yeah,
a
well,
gowl, like what a
I know.
prick.
I'm
Fucking
exactly the same. I'm
saying
exactly the same.
cancer jokes and shit just to
Yeah.
like, I don't
Being
know, just to be horrible.
yeah, being that edgy. Like I look back now with that edgy fucking 16-year-old humor. Just I'm like, I just want to go back and slap me and be like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing?
But it's like
But
some people don't get over it.
I'd love to just tell people who are that age now, being like that, leaving cert college and all isn't, the be all and end all, isn't it?
Oh
The
no.
end game, But the only way that they can actually know that is just from doing it and going like I
Yeah.
can tell people, I'm telling my brother exactly. He's going through leaving cert now and doing his thing, and like
Oh
he's
bless.
studying and stressed about it and getting into college. Like, man, this is literally like
It's a stepping stone.
it's
Like, look,
not as important, And
college.
the only way he'll ever know that is in a couple of years' time, look back and go, yeah, like,
Yeah, fuck this. Like the last chill year I had was fucking Trent TY
oh,
because
jeez, that's a long time.
we did nothing for the
Literally
year.
nothing. That's
But
great crack.
it's same just in the whole kind of like humor and like developing your humor kind of thing. I even remember like I used to tell this story about how I was at a party and there was the load of like how do you say this? There wasn't a lot of white people there, you know? And I mean that in the sense of like music choice and playing. But like I don't know, I was just kind of like a sticking out like a sore thumb kind of guy because I don't know, I was just dumb. I was just making dumb jokes and I was just being silly and I was just being a bit of a goof. And at one stage I was kind of drunk and I was really getting into a song and like the N word came up in the song. I just didn't think and I just said it as I was singing along to the song. And this guy was there and he was like proper annoyed at me and he was like, "Man, what the fuck?" And he was black like, and I was like, "How yeah?" And he goes, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "I'm singing to the song." And he's like, "You can't say that." And I'm like, I, I'm just, I'm just singing the song. Can I not enjoy the song same as you because I'm white? It's kind of fucked up. And like, if I could talk to myself now at that
Hmm.
party, I would say, shut the fuck up,
Oh, absolutely.
moron.
Like,
Because I remember telling that story in college, and I got like these two girls being like, "Well, yeah, he's well in his right to say that. You can't just fucking say it." Because I thought it was a funny story of me being unfairly like attacked or whatever.
hmm,
But it's like in retrospect, absolutely, you cannot do that. You can't. I mean,
yeah.
what the fuck? Like, especially
And
in
that's it.
public.
It's a different world when you're that age as well. You don't realize,
You
you
don't.
know, and like
Yeah, you
people
don't
say,
think about
"Well,
the impact.
I did shit like that as well," and you kind of look back and go, "That just wasn't cool and that wasn't funny." But that's why I don't agree with the whole. Yeah, let's look at tweets and stuff
Oh
they
no,
said from
yeah,
10 years ago, and like
it's
it's you grow as a
Twitter.
person. But
Twitter believes that it's like PewDiePie. Remember Pewdie? Like he's had a couple of dodge moments. Like he said the what was it? You don't know. I don't know if you know any of it. I just when I from the period I used to watch him. I go on and off of periods of watching him, but it was like he made those stupid like Jew jokes, or where he
yeah,
was like death to
I
all
remember
Jew.
that.
Said the N word when he was playing a game, and
Hmm.
it's like obviously in his position like something like that really negatively reflects because a young fan might see that and think, okay, well, if PewDiePie is doing it, fuck, this should probably be acceptable. Like, who cares? It's just words. It's like when iDubbbz, that other guy, he was like, the N word is just a word. And it's like, yeah, there's plenty of things that are just words. They still cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can't
it's
just whisk it away because
but
you don't care.
it's not up to you as a scrawny white guy to
Yeah.
come to that realization. That's not for you to. It's not your argument.
That
So
video
you know.
empowered us in such the wrong way.
Hmm.
Remember
It's
that?
not. I do. It's not.
Fucking
And I used
hell.
to, that, and that's, I'm the same. I was an edgy 15, 14, 15, 16-year-old, like, and I watched
Oh,
that
and
video going, yeah, he's
I
right,
lapped
like,
it
and I
up.
don't, what the fuck, like,
I
but
lapped it up like,
that's the danger of it,
and then, oh yeah. Anyway, we can go on about that. But I just wanted to make another point, just talking about humor. It's funny then in terms of evolution of humor. I was talking to my brother, and like he's I don't know what would you say. I don't want to say I'm a funny guy, so he tries to be a funny guy because that's
Well,
cringe.
you've said it now,
I've said it
so
now.
so
See, I've
just
said it
own.
now in a way that made it seem I was apprehensive of saying it. So now I can say it without guilt.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you've done it now, you've owned it.
This is the linguistic knowledge in my brain. I knew this is like I'm trampolining through this conversation. So I was saying to him like he tries to make jokes and we always joke back and forth I feel like a lot of the time he bounces jokes off me to sort of see if they're funny. You know, he kind of gives me
Okay.
that look of like, did he like that? I don't know. But what I was trying to
Hmm.
say to him, most of his jokes have of late have just been like kind of digs, you know?
Yeah, yeah, like,
Like he was like the other day he said something and I think it was something like, yeah, Andrew, get your life together. And I was just like, all right. I mean, shit, man. But
there's a
anyway,
difference between making a joke and then just being mean,
yeah, and then like he
you
was
know?
making jokes about my sister, and like she was just kind of getting upset then because she was like, he's just making fun of me, and I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything. Anyway, I was trying to explain to him like the way my sense of humor has evolved, or like has changed over time. It's interesting now when I think about it. I don't make like if you're in a group setting, I don't make jokes at the expense of people to lift myself up or make people perceive me as like a funny guy. It's just I was trying to explain to him, you should be making jokes for the imagine you're adding to a fire of comedy, if you like. And each
Hmm.
joke you're saying is adding to that pile. Like you should just be creating a funny and hilarious atmosphere for you and your friends, not like ripping out of each other. Well, you can do that as well if you're good enough friends. But you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Sort
Yeah,
of like trying to create comedy as opposed to take comedy out of the expense of someone else. You know what I'm saying?
it goes back to like, do you say jokes, or are you making these jokes so that, are you trying to make people laugh, or do you want people to think you're funny? Like they're two very
Exactly.
different things. Two very different things. Like if you're doing this so you think you're cool, or are you doing it to genuinely just brighten up someone's day or make them
Yeah.
laugh? Like there's two very and there's like two cynical natures to that that you'll
Yeah.
see.
Really is. That's why I say now of like I've said to you before, especially when I make joke. Like remember in the last episode, I was talking to our friend Franz about this. In the last episode when I was like, liver, I hardly know her, and there was just that dead silence.
Yeah.
I was talking to him and he was saying like he burst out laughing when that happened. And that's like that was the intent because it's just like what a shit joke. Like that was so fucking stupid. But I
Man,
was like, it's
I
the
edited that
awkwardness.
podcast. I edited
Yeah.
that, and there's like a couple of bits where like the audio cut out and stuff like that, and I did my best job trying to put it all together. That I left you hanging, man. I could
Yeah,
have
I know,
edited
I
that.
know, I know.
I
That's the
could
thing
have,
though, you dog. Like, I
I
mean,
could have
like
edited that.
you're supposed to be the guy that bounces off of me and goes
I
like,
could have.
oh, but instead you were just like,
No, I
I
let you have
sleep.
it.
I sleep.
No.
But anyway, my point that was my point being of like that joke made me look stupid and made me look like I'm bad at saying jokes or doing jokes. But like that in of itself was funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of thing of like you're not trying to be impressive, you're just trying to have a good time. Anyway, that's that. Any memes?
Any memes? Speaking of memes,
Oh,
uh, me and Andrew, I decided off camera. We
oh,
don't usually do this.
we don't.
We usually kind of just go on, and I kind of just I kind of just spring topics upon you, and you do the same. But this one, I kind of had to run by you,
A little bit.
so we be in a position to actually record it.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna
okay.
We're gonna just jump into this now because this could go on for a long time. Basically, hold on, I have to fucking share my screen or some shit.
All right.
Basically, guys, on your screen right now, on our screens anyway,
Hopefully
you should be able to see.
this does not like brick your computer by the way.
Oh God, yeah. Imagine
Anyway,
there's just nothing here at all. There's nothing here at all.
there's nothing.
But
Okay, for the listeners, we did not do a tech rehearsal or run through of this in any
no,
capacity. So if this fucks up, you'll either see this being put together or you will see the end result as a screenshot. We will find out when we're done. So
yeah,
sorry in advance.
basically. But basically, this was put out by one of our good friends, Andrew,
Hmm.
on Twitter. He
Oh,
put this up,
Andrew
and
N.
I did my own personally, and then I was like, oh, this would actually be really cool to speak to Andrew with this on the podcast. We haven't
That's
actually
good.
ran through this yet,
No.
um, but we're gonna get into it now. And I said, so shout out to Andrew for we're robbing your idea.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
Shout out to
it's
Andrew
on
N. Thank you
yeah.
very much.
So we're just completely stealing this.
Yeah,
This
but
is
we're
on
in
tier maker
video
though.
format,
Yeah, exactly. So we are better than you.
so we are
But
better.
we're gonna jump into this now. We have a tier list here of I think every Disney Pixar movie that's been
I feel like
made.
there's more almost.
That's what I'm looking at this list. I don't know.
Anyway, look,
Uh,
we have the list we have. It's fine.
Now this is just solely Disney Pixar.
Yes.
Um, I have it split into lists of haven't seen, awful, not great, good, brilliant, and then Dorty, purely for this
Dorty.
podcast. So that's
Yes.
like the elite of the elite, the top movies that are in here.
You
Um,
cannot do better.
like for me personally, there's like one or two that gets into that list. Like that is the highest of the,
I see
the
one movie
highs.
there, Ryan, and we're about to have a disagreement.
I
So
could.
let's see how this goes.
So anyway, we're gonna jump into. We're gonna wait. First off, Andrew, A Bug's Life. Where do you think we can
I
show this?
haven't seen this movie for years.
Mm-hmm.
However, I still remember so many of the moments. It's actually a whopper movie, but
Yeah,
it is a bit like fucking weird.
yeah.
You know what I'm
It's a bit
saying?
mad.
I would say it's a kind of a classic though, you
Yeah,
know?
from me personally, it's one of those films that like the way I judge these films is like which one of these would I watch again? You get me? Like A Bug's Life, I've seen it a
Yeah.
couple of times as a kid, and I'd probably go the rest of my life without ever watching it again and be okay with that. It's a
Yeah.
For
I'm
me
kind of
personally,
yeah.
I'd put it
Okay.
in the good category.
I'm stuck between good and brilliant. I don't know if it's brilliant. I think nostalgia is making me say it's brilliant.
I think so too. Now I haven't seen this since I was like 6,
I have seen it within the last 10 years, maybe
but
5.
there's films on this list that I've seen quite recently. You know what I mean? That have made like movies that I have gone out my way to watch as an adult and as a teenager. You know what I mean? Where A Bug's Life just didn't have that effect on me as such.
I'm
Now
kind of
don't get me.
yeah, go on.
Wait, no, you go ahead.
I'm kind of grading these honestly based on like quotability. and like how often, like with obviously with Toy Story, not to jump
Yeah.
ahead, obviously with Toy Story, it's like, I drive to work I drive
Yeah.
all the way to work on a Saturday, and it's like fucking hilarious. So that's kind of okay. Bugs Life, good. I think we can agree
We
at
can
that
agree on that.
because
Okay.
it's a bit of not cringe, but a bit of weirdness
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't sit with me.
So we're gonna sit that there. Now, we can change this as we go on. We can
We
go.
can
Actually, we can say, actually, we can drop that, or you know what I mean. But for me,
adaptations,
I think it's good. Like, there's worse movies, there's far better movies,
of course.
But for me as well, there's not a lot of Bugs Life that kind of sticks out to me. A couple of funny scenes and stuff, but
I remember the
there's a lot of
villain, the
yeah.
grasshopper,
He was a mad looking fella.
but like I kind of thought he was funny. Like I don't know,
Yeah,
he was
he was a
very
good character.
serious.
But
Okay, haven't seen Brave, by the way,
Brave, I haven't seen either. I haven't
so
seen.
that's an easy one.
So guys,
It
educate us
look
in
kind
the
of shit.
comments.
Look kind of
Yeah,
shit. Now that's my ignorant, non-knowledgeable take. It looked kind of shit.
I've heard it's really good, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
I just don't like watching Disney movies unless I have to, as in like unless I'm watching them with children.
Yeah, I haven't. Once again,
Bit
all
of a
these,
cynic.
most of these films I seen as a kid, and then as
Yeah,
growing up, it kind of loses its effect on me. New movies coming out,
yeah.
um, but I haven't seen Brave, but I've heard it's really good, and it's one of those ones I must get around to. So, guys, let me know.
Let us
Let us
know.
know what you think and if you'd
Don't let me
recommend it,
know.
or,
I
or
don't
where
care.
you'd put it in this list.
Let Ryan know.
For now, we're gonna put in with the haven't seen.
Haven't seen him. So
Okay, next up, Cars.
one. It's kind of pixelated.
Cars 1. Cars 1.
Cars 1. I'll never forget that they put a tramp stamp on the
Oh.
girl car.
Mm-hmm.
And that, even as a younger man, made me immediately think of cars having sex. And that's
Yeah.
stuck with me. That's a caustic take to jump right into that sort of review. But you know what I'm saying?
I never understood. I never understood. I never understood like the the gravity of the universe that they're trying to depict. The Cars universe where like there's one scene with like a helicopter. So it's like,
Yeah.
is that helicopter
And then,
alive, or is there a car in that
oh my
helicopter
fucking
that's
God.
that's controlling the
Well, like,
helicopter?
there's the thing of like, they had all the offshoots, like they had fucking planes,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Imagine when it was just
Mm-hmm.
boats.
Just trains.
Boats, trains. It's a shit life to be a train, man.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine trains are like indentured servants.
Yeah.
But did you ever see that illustration? And it's like just like this gelatinous mass of like tissue and muscles, like climbing into Lightning McQueen's like car as like a shell, and its eyes like bulge up
That's
against the windscreen.
I think I seen one of them of like Tom's Tank Engine as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's one of that kind of shit. Anyway, the
but
Cars universe implies it's post-apocalyptic, and
yeah,
I love post-apocalyptic movies. I put Cars 1 in brilliant, honestly.
really, I think I'd go with Bugs Life. I think it's good. I
Ryan,
think
I have one counterpoint.
yeah.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. But I think it's good. I think it gets a lot of shit. Cars. I think it gets a lot of shit. Maybe for the other two movies but I think the first movie is actually
Yeah,
it's actually
I've only
pretty
seen
good.
like half the second one, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. We'll get on to that.
Yeah,
But I think Cars 1, I think it's actually pretty good. It's pretty decent.
can you put it halfway between brilliant and good? Is that allowed?
I'm gonna put it in brilliant for now, right?
Okay,
I'll put it in there, because I said put Bugs Life in good. We'll compromise and
we'll
put
compromise.
Cars in brilliant, right? I'd have it slightly lower,
Yeah,
but I can't disagree with it.
it's just Owen Wilson, like
Yeah.
ka-chow.
Now next up we have
Cars
Cars
2.
2.
I don't
Now
know. I don't really recall it, to be honest.
now I actually did in my own one. I basically on my own one. I don't know if you see it on Twitter. I have
Okay.
we have Dirty here.
Yeah.
I did my own one above that and just put Cars 2 because like Cars 2 is the greatest film ever made. There's no point. There's no point in even comparing anything to it, right?
Okay.
Now, all memes aside, Cars 2 is an abomination.
Is
It
it?
is. It's pretty terrible. I remember going to see it in cinema when I was a kid. And keep in mind, this is like when you're an impressionable kid and you think
Yeah, you
everything is
think
fucking
everything's
deadly.
cool
I remember asking my dad, could we leave the cinema?
because
It
it's
was
so
really
bad.
bad. And then I rewatched it as an adult, and it's bad. So
Okay. So that, I feel like even as a kid, then that's a clear awful.
yeah, I'm gonna put it in awful.
Okay.
Right now, as I feel like because I've done a couple of memes about Cars 2, and I even
Yeah,
turned my Twitter once into a Cars 2
you
fan
did
account.
do that,
So I
and then
feel like I'm
never
letting this.
posted about it.
I feel like I'm letting the slide down
A
here
little
with
bit, a
Cars
little bit.
2.
You're really
Anyway,
revealing your lying nature. The Cars
I
2
know
community is coming for you.
coming for the. So I think
Community, the car community.
then next up we've got Cars 3.
Haven't seen it.
Have I seen it? Once again, I think I'm gonna put it in not great. I don't know if you remember that poster. Do you remember the poster that they released for the original Cars?
I
Where it's
think
like
so.
Lightning McQueen all like fucked up and shit. It was man, it
Oh
was dark.
yeah, like
The
after he
original,
crashed and he's like, I guess the car equivalent of being on his deathbed,
yeah, man, it was
death garage.
dark. It was dark, and I like, but I'm gonna put it in not great. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know what you
the
think.
dark promotional material bumps it up a level.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in there. I'm gonna put it in not great for that poster alone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now
But it
Coco.
wasn't.
Sorry, now.
Man, I'm gonna put Coco right for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Coco in brilliant. I thought
I
Coco was
wanna I wanna
really
put it
good.
in brilliant. I thought it was so. I watched it with my siblings. I thought it was so fucking cute, and I was like, what a nice way to introduce the concept of like death and finality to a
Hmm.
child. It's just like you go to this sick ass mariachi skeleton land, you know?
But yeah, man, fucking yeah, Coco, man. I loved the idea of the whole. It's just something that we hadn't seen before in a Pixar movie, and
Yeah.
even down to like the animation itself was phenomenal. Like how
Oh yeah.
they. There's one scene where like he's there and he's like in the. I'm not even gonna butcher speaking like
Mm.
what like the Mexican places and shit. But there's one part where like he's in the afterlife, and there's like a million lights, and each one of them would have happened to have been animated themselves, and it was
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
super cool. It's one of my favorite
What
Pixar movies.
what is that
And the thing is,
called?
I only watched it recently for the first time. I only watched it like in a few months ago for the first time,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
still pretty fresh in my mind. But as an adult watching it for the first time, it was so good.
Yeah. No, it's
So
pretty it's really nice. It's really just like it's by the yeah, I was leaning forward like basically chomping on my mic, so I hope this is better.
yeah,
Um so no, but with Coco, yeah, just like what I said. Just the whole also just another thing of like just getting that kind of culture and exposing it more to a
yeah,
Western.
literally,
It really made me want to go to a sort of what would you call it? A Spanish influence or
yeah, it
Latino-ish
was
country and
really
just
really good.
experience at a festival like that. Anyway,
But I think it's one of Pixar's best, especially in recent years where they haven't. I feel like to me
yeah.
Pixar are pretty good in terms of their consistency, but in recent years they haven't quite. They've kind of dropped the level.
A
You know what I
little
mean?
it's hard to keep the energy going,
But I
I
think
guess.
Coco was getting up there again, showing that Pixar still have the capacity to make really good films. But for
Yes.
me, Coco, we'll put that in brilliant.
Whopper Bopper.
Next up, we've got Finding Dory. I'm
I
gonna I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
I don't
Haven't seen
remember.
it.
I don't remember. I know I like I sat down to watch it, but I don't think I retained anything.
Hmm.
Dory's cute. I don't know. Not great.
Played by Ellen though.
Oh, Ellen who? Oh, Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, which I'm not
Uh,
not fond of.
I want to put it in awful just because it's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah,
Even
but
though even though we haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, but any reviews I've seen or anything like that, I've just heard it's meh.
It's
It's
just
kind of
kind of
not it's not great.
scraping off the tail end of the
Yeah.
success of Finding Nemo.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Have you
don't know.
seen it?
I can't, I'm just gonna say I haven't seen because I actually
Okay,
cannot. I obviously didn't retain anything, even if I
we'll
did.
put it in haven't seen, right? We'll put it in there for now. Next up, we've got the big boy,
Oh, the big
Finding
Kahuna.
Nemo, Finding Nemo itself,
Yeah,
and for me, um, like the movies that we're skipping ahead here a little bit, but for like the main that I think of when you hear of Pixar is like Monsters Inc., Toy Story, and like Finding Nemo, and
yeah.
just for me, I just don't think it's quite on that level. I think Finding Nemo's really good, and it's probably better than most animated films. But
Yeah.
for me, I don't think it. I'd rather watch Coco before I watch Finding Nemo.
Hmm.
That's probably a
I
very unpopular opinion,
I
but
think Nemo is just one of those honest to goodness like staples. You know what I
mm,
mean?
oh, that's
Well,
like I have
what's
absolutely utmost respect for it. Like
what is your favorite scene from Nemo?
Nemo, I fucking I love the turtle fella, the stony
True.
turtle. He was deadly with
And
the with that.
even as a kid, I identified intensely with that
Yeah,
character.
I loved it. I one thing they really made me do, even as a kid, they like the panic that you feel when he's in the tank and they're trying to get out, and there's that
Yeah.
creepy kid that's trying to. Even to do that well with like animated fish, to be able to
Mm.
do that was really good. But
I
I
I
I think I'd put it in good, but I know I'm
I put
probably
no,
pissing off a lot of
I would
people.
put it in brilliant. I'd almost
Mhm.
put it in Dorty, but I'm just trying to look at the rest of the movies. I don't want to like count. No, we can change though, I guess.
Exactly.
I want to put it in brilliant personally.
You're gonna put it. Well, I'll put it there. I'll put it there
We'll
for
put
now.
it
I
there for
feel like
now because
because
by
it's one of those movies that I understand.
it deserves
I
the
get it.
love, but I don't know
I
how
get
I personally feel about it. You know
I
what I'm
get it.
saying?
Like
Next one anyway.
next up we've got Inside Out, which I'm gonna piss off a lot of people here going,
Oh,
I haven't seen,
oh,
haven't seen,
I saw it. It
and
was cute.
I know it's one of them. I know it's one of them movies that I've heard it's really good and it does look interesting. I don't know why I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, I know, I kind of get it. I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of memes came out of it. You know that thing like, what
Hmm.
is going on inside their head? Did you ever see that one? That
Yeah, yeah,
format, and it's just like monkeys slapping symbols together.
but
Um,
I just haven't seen it.
I'd
I don't know
say
why.
I did see it. I thought it was pretty cute. I like the movies that Pixar do, where it's kind of like it gets you to think, especially for a child. It gets you to
Hmm.
think in a different way, and I feel like that kind of helped, or that would help children, kind of, especially if like my brother kind of struggles with emotional regulation sometimes. So I think it's interesting for him to be like, if you're thinking about just the angry man going off inside you and you have to like soothe the angry man and like
Hmm.
as a form of emotional regulation. I think that's kind of cool. So I'd put it
It is.
in good.
I'll put it there then. It's one of them movies I must get around to seeing. I don't know why I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
It's one of those I
it's
heard nothing
cutesy.
but good things about it.
Yeah,
But I
that's what
will
I'm
keep
saying.
it good.
Like
Now
I
move,
wouldn't. I'm not losing sleep over not watching it every day,
of
but
course.
it's one of the. It's a cute little thing. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Anyway, next up here we have one of the
Oh,
greatest film, not greatest animated, just greatest films of all time, and that's Monsters Inc. And for me, there's only one place that this can go, and that's Dorothy. That's the
it's
only
fucking
place.
door. Ryan,
That's the only.
may I do my impression?
Please.
Mike Wazowski, you didn't fill out your paperwork.
You do a pretty good job of that. You do.
I'm always watching.
Oh God. But for
Man,
me, man,
fucking
Monsters Inc.
Randall, everything. I just love it.
Randall is an amazing character, one of the greatest
One of the only good
villains.
villains, like
One of the
honestly.
greatest. Like that's one thing that they got spot on with this movie. They had a great antagonist
And
in.
like his goal is realistic of like I no
Yeah,
I it's not like I want to fucking blow up Earth. It's like I need to be the best scarer. I want to be
yeah.
the best, and you're in
He's
the way.
just jealous, and
Yeah,
even down to one thing that Pixar has got absolutely spot on in every single one of their films, whether the films are great or not. Um, character design. Their character designs are phenomenal, and like
yeah, because
Randall,
it's a
like one look
Weasley
at
little.
Randall.
Yeah, you know
One
he's the
look at
villain.
Randall, and you know exactly what his character is about. Same with Sully. Same with Mike. Amazing character. And just I only once again that's a movie I only watched recently in the last few weeks actually.
Really?
And
Wait, what?
yeah, I only
Wait,
watched it a few weeks.
wait, what? As in like for the first time?
No, I
Holy
watched it
shit!
again recently.
Holy shit! I was like, Matt Ryan, if that was the case, you were not the man I thought you've been
Oh
for the last 10 years. To be
no
honest
chance.
with you,
No, I
holy
watched it
shit!
again recently,
Okay,
I
good
should
man, good
say,
man, good man.
and it just hits the same.
It
It just hits
does.
the same notes, the same emotional beats. It's a fantastic film. Like it's flawless. It's
I found
absolutely flawless.
myself thinking about that fucking ending. Just where
Hmm.
he like finally pieces together the door again, and then you
Yeah,
hear like a slightly older voice on the girl, and
yeah.
like Sully's face lights up. I don't know why that particular scene caught me off edge. I think I was just like cooking or something. I was just thinking about it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I think it's with lockdown because I miss seeing people, but it's just that like I don't know. It's just such a heartwarming like thing.
And I'll cry every time I watch that scene, every single
Yeah,
time.
don't care, don't care.
Amazing film. Anyway,
Uh,
so we'll stick that with
it's
Dorothy. One
Dorty,
of
yeah,
them.
100%. That's an easy one.
Next up, we've got Monsters University,
It's
and
it just it has
it
so much to live up to.
it's I think that first of all I think they waited too long for the
A
sequel.
little
This
bit,
only came out quite recently.
and technically it's a prequel as well.
Yeah, and like
Sequel,
I think it was
prequel.
like, and once again, I remember watching it and being like, it's fine, you know. But I don't know if I'm trying to separate it from the fact that it is Monsters Inc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt and say like and judge it on its own thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like comparing it because it is its own film in its own right. But it was okay. So for me, I'd probably put it in the not great section.
I personally we are and like apparently like holy shit, brain. Monsters University like is quite popular as well, so that's
Yeah,
also it's another unpopular. But I think I'd agree. Like I remember watching it, and I think even though it's just like I guess it's childhood, but I just was watching it thinking like this is cool and all, but like I know where they're going, and I kind of want to see what happened with Boo. You know,
yeah.
like what is there going to be any reconciliation for that?
Hmm.
And I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was good though. You can't fault it really, but
I'd
not
put it
great.
if I could. I'd put it between good and not great. So what were we saying?
We should have made a meh one. Then again,
Yeah,
half of them would have gone in meh.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not great. I'm just gonna say not great.
Okay, we're going not great. If I could put it here, I would between the two.
Yeah,
But
but
I'll stick it with not great. I'll put it
to
there for
make
now.
a hard choice that's going to not great.
Now,
Now,
next up we have Onward,
haven't seen it.
and haven't seen it. We're just gonna skip it because this go on forever. Once again, I
Looks
heard it's
dumb.
not great. I heard it's not great. And like one thing I saw, which really kind of threw me off, was Pixar are really good with like their character designs and also creating a really interesting kind of vibrant world
Yeah.
that a lot of the time isn't even real and isn't tangible, but you can have an understanding of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it is visually interesting. But from what I've seen of Onward, they're like elves, but they just
Mm-hmm.
exist in the normal world. And it's like this would have been so much cooler if they had came up with this kind of like elven universe that they live in. Instead, it's just humans, but they're elves, and they don't.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like Sing when Sing came out from
Yeah.
Illumination
Yeah. Yeah.
Pictures, where it's just
Oh,
they're humans
that
but animals.
studio is fucking
Awful,
like
awful,
crackhead energy,
awful.
isn't it? Like they
But
really
like
have put out some questionable shit.
But that film, it doesn't matter that they're animals. It doesn't actually impact the story in it, and that's why I feel like we're
No,
onward. But I haven't
it's
seen
just
it, so
cute.
that's just
But
my impression of it.
even though it's not here, it's a different studio. Like that's the thing with Sing. Like Illumination Studio is one of those studios where every movie feels like an advertisement for something, be it
Exactly,
another one
exactly.
of their movies or just some kind of like singing animals, different types of music, all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I don't know. There's no soul to it. It's just
Yeah.
kind of gimmicky. Anyway, next one.
Now, moving on. Next up, we have Rat a fucking Tui.
Oh,
What a
fuck,
what a film.
man. I still get lost in when the critic is like
Oh,
like stabbing into the Ratatouille and like
mhm.
having all those recollections of like his former life and just the cooking scenes with the whimsical French music and
Yeah,
the way he like flicks stuff into the pot, all that shit, fucking phenomenal. Movie
it's
actually made me care about cooking. Sorry,
it's such a comfort movie. You can put that
isn't it?
on,
It's like a
and it
hug.
just it honestly, it's such a great film.
Fucking love it.
Once again, another film that I watched fairly recently in this lockdown. I watched a
Hmm.
load of Pixar movies and stuff just that I was like, I haven't seen that in ages. And I watched Ratatouille, and it's just as good as it was. Oh,
Yeah,
as I watched it years ago. But once
the
again,
animation as
Remy
well.
is such a little. He's
Bastard.
literally a rat. Like he's just a
Rah,
rat. Like he's so
rah.
annoying. And like, what's the man's name?
Remy?
Linguini.
Linguini? Why did I say
Linguini.
Remy? I think it's Linguini, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And
Yeah.
Remy's the rat's name.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
And
yeah, I'm dumb.
yeah, it's just once again, just their characters work so well, and the fact is, it's just so silly, but it's also so good, and once again emotional when it needs to be, kind of like Coco or like Monsters Inc.
Yeah. Oh,
And just
it's
even just the whole, once again, like I was saying about Pixar creating a universe or creating like the whole world just looks interesting, even though it's Paris and it's a world that we all know. How well they execute that with this new, found character.
yeah,
So it's so good.
like the scene of him being in his little studio apartment and like cooking up a dinner and then going out to the balcony and all that shit.
Hmm.
And I was just thinking like, holy shit, that's like some end game, like for
Yeah.
life kind of shit.
Hmm.
That seems like, oh my god, that's like you're winning if you're doing that shit. Anyway,
For me, I think I'd put it in brilliant. For me,
I would honestly say Dorty. I know
you
it's
put it in
I
Dorty.
know it's not for everyone, but I just love French shit,
Yeah.
It's
Once
so
again,
cute.
I
Anyway,
can't I can't argue with that.
I'll leave this one up to you because I've made a few pushes for brilliant already.
I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna say brilliant. I'm gonna put it there.
Okay.
And I put it once again. If I could put it between the two,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
would.
I'd be happy with brilliant.
It's a
Now,
fucking. It's probably my favorite out of the brilliant section here so far.
Yeah,
Anyway,
honestly.
Next up, we've got
Now,
Soul.
you've told me to watch this one, and I gotta tell you, I have not done that. So this is all on you.
Soul's really cool. Once again, like they did this, it's about just a black jazz artist and how he wants to become a success. He's not. He's a teacher. He's a music teacher, and he's trying to live his dream of being a jazz artist and stuff like that. And then he ends up dying. He dies.
Oh.
And it basically then he's like you go. It's weird. It's like afterlife, as we but it's like he is trying to get back down to earth to his body to go to this jazz concert and stuff like that. But then he meets this other person along the way. It's a typical, what I'm trying to say, like he meets someone who's like the polar opposite of him, and how they end up.
Have to yeah.
But once again, the really good film, really good. Once again, the kind of jazz scene that they depict in the film is really cool. This kind of smoky, dark jazz club and the music, and once again, Pixar getting it spot on again with the style and the world that they create. It makes you want to go, and like it makes you want to put on a jazz album after you've seen it. Like super cool music, something different once again that Pixar haven't dabbled in before. They did a really good job of this film. For me, I put it in the good section. I don't think it's quite on the same level as Ratatouille or Coco or anything for me.
I was gonna say it's,
as I would say, go on.
Sorry. I thought you were done there.
No, go on.
Okay. I was just gonna say, do you remember that movie Princess and the Frog?
I do.
And I had that like voodoo guy in it.
I watched that only recently as well.
Yeah, and like it just had that whole like different vibe. Where it had the Disney shit in it, obviously, but it was just like the voodoo guy and the restaurant, and then like the locals to the area and all. And it was just that kind of. It's different. It wasn't like, not to be like, you know what I mean, but like it wasn't just to see a white faces telling some generic Western ass fucking, damsel in distress story or whatever.
Yeah.
Like she had her own dream and all that kind of stuff.
That film for me had its own issues. We're not here to discuss that now. It had its problems. But sure. I thought it was it was a good movie, and I really loved the authentic like hand drawn animation that I missed.
Missed that stuff.
But I get what you mean. But for me, what I'm saying, going back to my earlier point was, I was saying to you at the very start that which one of these films would I want to watch again? For example, I will watch Ratatouille again. I will watch Coco again for sure. I'll watch Monsters Inc. and Toy Story and all that. Will I watch Soul again? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Out of all these movies, which one will I stick on?
So
that's why I put Soul in good.
So it's good as in like I've seen it. I'm glad I've seen it, but I don't need to see it again.
That's what I mean. I will definitely watch some of these movies again.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got The Good Dinosaur. Never seen it.
No, never seen it. My brother's seen it. I could run downstairs and get my brother and get his.
I've heard it's not great. I've heard there's a lot of there was a lot of issues with it and stuff. But
I haven't seen it. No, but I don't know. My 10-year-old brother loves it, so I'll just give it the benefit of the doubt. But I haven't seen it.
Now these next two films are kind of mixed up here, but
we'll go with the first one, I guess.
First one, right? We got The Incredibles, man. The Incredibles,
man. Fucking The Incredibles is what got me into superhero shit. Like,
The Incredibles.
I don't think I've seen anything really Marvel shit before that, but I remember seeing The Incredibles and just that like idea of like, I don't know. I don't like family orientated shows. Like I watched another one that was like Lost in Space or something, and it's like a family lost in space. I don't like the dynamic. I don't care for it. I don't really like. I don't know. Anyway, point being is, despite that though, the way they all build off each other with being super powered and having to obviously keep a low profile, and then the way they interact with each other and they have to bounce off each other and they have to complement each other's powers. I don't know. I feel like there's an interesting metaphor for like putting odd pieces together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides that, sick as fuck kid.
It's so cool. And once again, having to kind of work together as a team and put your differences aside and stuff like that. And it's kind of just shows a relationship, but just society in general, and just with every family you have. Like growing up, like you always had your fuck you ma, and you always had your problems with your brother and stuff like that. But in your heart of hearts, you don't want anything to happen to them, and you'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really showed that in a superhero kick-ass fucking.
In a fucking way. Even the villain I found very interesting in a way.
Man.
In the way of like, I can't remember his name now, but it was just that it wasn't even a shit name actually. Now that I think about it, but I liked his whole shtick of like just in like modern era of, you know, like Twitch people, Twitch streamers and YouTubers and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and they have these thousands of fans, and they always, not all of them now, but some of them are like, you know, you're like Dream, that guy, the Minecraft kid, and all those
Yeah.
people, where they're like, I love each and every one of you, each and every one of you, thousands of people are just as important to me, blah blah blah, and it creates this like parasocial, one-sided relationship in which this fan thinks the creator individually gives a fuck about them, where in
Exactly. Yeah.
reality, like data harvesting, these people are just part of a set unit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think it's interesting, like in that way, of like this kid got so enamored with this like superhero thing, and he was like, I want to be part of the family, you know? And then it drives him. I don't know if you want to say insanity. I don't know if Pixar would dabble with insanity or mental health, but it kind of veered in that direction. Do you know, when you think about it from
One
an adult perspective?
one thing that Pixar always get in their best movies, I think the best quality that in like their elite films that they get absolutely spot on is when they have like realistic goals for their bad guys,
Yeah,
for the, you know what I mean. Once you can like understand the goals of the, you know, the enemy, the bad guy, the antagonist, the film works a lot better. Because
uh,
most of the time with these films, you kind of go, I don't get what's the point, you know, why is this guy doing this? That was kind of like getting sidetracked again, but like with Thanos and Endgame, like a lot of people had a problem with his why he wanted to eliminate half the universe kind of meme, and that kind of took people away from the film a little bit. Where I
yeah. In terms
completely
of
understand
what's your gradation like? You know, is it
exactly,
what kind of
well,
life?
I completely understand, you know, the mission that Randall's on, and again with the motivation of the, you know, of the bad guy in Incredibles. So for me, I'm gonna put Incredibles in. Oh, where will I put this?
Is
I'm,
it Dorty? Like, is it Dorty?
I think it's brilliant
Also,
for me.
the guy's name is Syndrome,
Syndrome.
and
Okay, I
that
remember.
even in itself, it's kind of like a
Yeah.
syndrome, as of like you've
Hmm.
convinced yourself. I don't know. Anyway, we've been, I think we've been at this for like 30 minutes, so we may hurry up to the next
Yeah.
few. But I think easy, brilliant. Is it Dorty? I'm gonna say yeah, just because it's looking a bit sparse up there. But then no, if I put Dorty, if I put Incredibles and Dorty, I'd have to put Ratatouille in there. So I'm brilliant. It's brilliant.
Okay. That I'm happy with that. That's where I'd put. That's where I'd put. Incredibles. Now next up, moving on quickly. Incredibles 2. Pretty shit,
Um,
man. Pretty
it
shit.
was fine. I liked the kind of throwback meme, or like it kind of felt
Hmm.
like a 70s movie somehow. Um, but I watched, I think most of it, didn't really care to finish it. It
Hmm.
was fine. I'm sure a kid would love it, but not for me.
It was one of those movies that kind of like Monsters University fell under the, you know, the problem of living up to the first one, and also the fact that it came out like 20 years
Yeah, it's
after
such
the
a
first
time
one.
gap, like,
What
and
did
what
they do?
the
You know,
fuck?
where all the people that grew up watching The Incredibles have moved on, and newer generations probably don't even care about it that much. So for me, I'm gonna put it not great.
Yeah. Like, why did it take so long? You know?
Exactly,
That sounds like a bit of a
exactly.
pissy thing to say, but
And
it's
they
like,
ended
no.
Incredibles 1 with like basically a setup. So why
Yeah.
did it take? They obviously were planning a sequel. So why did it
Yeah,
take
but
that
especially
long?
with like Jack and shit, and like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on now.
yeah.
These are the big four,
These the big ones, man.
the Giga movies. Like, so we'll
Now,
go from the start, of course.
now for me, there's nothing. For me, Toy Story is the greatest franchise of all time.
Okay.
Nothing has ever been as efficient and as consistent as the Toy Story
Hmm.
franchise in terms of, like, for example, I love Star Wars, but to me there's been more bad Star Wars movies than good Star Wars movies, where to me all four Toy Story
I mean,
movies
there's
are
also been
amazing.
a higher number of Star Wars movies
Yeah,
to
but
Toy Story,
still,
but it's
but
still.
for example, the first four Star Wars movies, 1, 2, 3 were good. The fourth one, which was Phantom Menace, shit, you know. And the fact that Toy Story has been going on for over 20 years, the lifespan of them four movies, they spent time and
Oh yeah,
effort
and they
getting those
actually,
stories absolutely spot on.
and there wasn't like Toy Story 1 came out and then Toy Story 2 came out 20 years later. It's like
Yeah, it
over
was.
that 20-year period, four individual storylines
Mhm.
were written up, drafted, acted, and animated, you know?
But anyway, Toy Story 2 for me, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Actually, can we do a super quick like run through of the stories of them?
Okay, yeah,
I'm kind of foggy. So the first one, Buzz shows up, and
yeah.
there's that kind of, I don't remember the main conflict of that movie. I think it was just Buzz and Woody getting along, wasn't it?
I watched the first two quite recently in the last month or so.
Yeah.
And the first one is basically just how Woody is Andy's favorite toy, and how Buzz
Yeah.
comes in and how he's jealous of Buzz,
Tries to kill him
and then
or something at one
yeah,
stage.
basically tries to get rid of him.
Yeah.
and then how they end up becoming like the best of friends and stuff. But just kind of about Woody realizing how he's wrong and how you can't just be that selfish and hang on to one person, and that Andy will eventually grow up, you know. And it's
Yeah.
just because you have another friend or something doesn't mean that they like you any less. And same with Buzz. Buzz is the opposite. He thinks that he's the shit, you
Yeah.
know, and how he's been
He's
brought
so
down to
he's
earth as
so
well.
above this like small town or small being the bedroom like mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
Now and then Toy Story 2 is about how there's the yard sale and Woody once again,
Yes.
just Woody being a good guy, goes and tries to help Wheezy,
Yeah, and it's
and
that whole journey. Is that Al's Toy Barn?
it is, and then
Yeah,
Al
okay.
steals Woody, and then how the toys go to
Oh my god.
save Woody.
Toy Story 2 had that scene with the old dude.
This it has this scene.
The scene. The
The
Toy
scene.
Story scene.
This scene, yes.
And like where he paints his little foot and he like gives a little he gets a little cotton swab and he's like
amazing scene. Oh,
off
what
the
a
ear.
scene.
Fucking
But-
hell.
And then Toy Story 3 is when Andy's grown up and they get donated to a day, or what's it called, like a play school.
That one
and
was
how does
like that one was like a reckoning of age for me.
Yeah,
Where I
what
was
a scene.
like, holy shit, he's an adult, and I'm like getting closer to that. You
And
know,
once again, I'll bawl my eyes out at the end of that film every
of
time.
course.
And then Toy Story
So long,
4,
partner.
and Toy Story 4 is when he's
That's
with the new
Lotso.
owner, Bonnie,
Oh,
and she creates Forky, her new favorite toy, and then
Oh.
how
have I seen
he-
that one?
Toy Story 4 is amazing. And then how
Sorry, is Toy Story 3 Lotso?
Lotso, that's Lotso, yeah.
Have I not seen Toy Story 4?
If you haven't, man, get on that shit, man. They're all so good.
I think I saw because I remember Forky, but I think I was just like I was walking through the sitting room while the siblings were watching, and I just
Mhm.
glanced at it. Fuck.
And basically how he
Set it aside
basically
then.
he becomes a toy and he's like, I'm not a toy, I'm a fucking fork. how- Literally, man, this is literally the
I'm a
storyline. And
fucking
then
fork.
and Woody's kind of like he kind of remembers what it was like in the first one when he was like, I'm Andy's favorite toy. Fuck you, Buzz. He kind of
Mm.
remembers what that feels like for a kid's perspective. He says, no, you need your Bonnie's favorite toy. She needs you, kind of thing, like, you know. And once it gets, oh man, they're all good. But for me,
Okay.
Toy Story 1 for me is the best Pixar movie ever made. Toy Story 1.
Oh, this is okay. We gotta hurry this up. This is where it gets tough. I think Toy Story 2 is my favorite Toy Story.
I can't. Once again, if anyone wants to say any of them are my favorite, I can't argue that all four of them are so good. If it was down to me, I would put Toy Story 1 in Dorty.
Yeah, no, do that. That's an easy one. Just throw that in there right now. We don't even need to talk about that.
And then for me, I'd put all the other three in Brilliant. That's what I'd do.
I'd ask for you to put the fourth one in Good just because I haven't seen it.
Okay, we'll put that there.
As a compromise.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Story 1. Fuck, which do I like? I just think Toy Story 2 has more memes and more quotable shit and more shit I remember. But Toy Story 1 has more of the feeling. That's the last thing I'm going to say about it. The reason I love the Toy Story franchise so much as well is because as a kid and into my adult years, it has persisted. It has made me think differently about my possessions. When I saw Toy Story, like when I was a kid and I first saw the first Toy Story, Ryan, my toys were the most well-maintained fucking pieces of plastic for the next couple of years.
I was the exact same.
Do you know what I mean? Because like, not that even
trying to catch them off guard. You're like, okay, I'm going out toys.
Yeah,
come on,
100%. And like, man, you can't like. There's no gradation of that. You can't categorize that as like a particular quality of a film. But fucking hell, a film that actually changes your mentality, I think, is so Dorty that it cannot be undersold. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. But
so where are you putting Toy Story 2?
Brilliant.
Okay.
2 and 3. I didn't like 3 that much.
No, 3 was absolutely sensational.
You make the choice for 3 and 4. I don't mind.
Okay, 4. I'd put all 3 of them in Brilliant.
All right, go ahead. Fuck it. Fuck the guards.
But Toy Story 3, the once again the intensity it brings in order, like they're trying to get out of this and you're like, you can feel your heart, and the fact that even at the end how it makes you laugh, makes you cry, it's just a perfect film for me.
Yeah.
And okay, that's Toy Story. We've talked enough about toys. Next up, fucking Up, man. Up.
This I remember seeing, and I don't, even as a kid, like you don't think about old people, I feel like, or like the finality of old people, but just like when it goes through that whole thing of his life story, like I'm choking up as a kid, and then I see it as an adult, and I'm choking up as an adult, and then finding the boy going to that place, the dog, squirrel,
Squirrel.
all that shit, just the way it all came together. Even the villain, he wasn't great.
Yeah, he wasn't
kinda
amazing.
he was just kind of like, meh, I'm evil. Meh.
Yeah.
But just the boy and the guy and just bouncing off each other. And then the whole thing of even him, like, I feel like there's a thing to be related to in the sense of, when people are trying to convince him to sell his house and stuff. Yeah. He had like an awful day. He swings his cane and he bonks your head in the man, which quite violent for a Pixar movie in retrospect.
We've all been there though. You know
what I mean? And it's that kind of thing of like, no matter how tough shit gets, there's always someone new to meet. There's always a way to overcome the oppression you're feeling. You know what I mean? It's just kind of nice.
Also, the opening like 5 minutes of that movie is it's some of the best cinema you'll ever see.
Rip your heart out and chew it up.
Like, to be able to tell a story in that short space of time, that basically like you can't. The fact that they like you watch that and you go, holy shit, there's still another hour and a half movie to go here.
Yeah.
That
I've just gone through a roller coaster. Like, what the fuck?
It's a phenomenal scene. Like, Pixar. Yeah. That's probably the best Pixar have done in that scene. Like, I still think Toy Story is my favorite movie out of Pixar, but the fact that just that scene alone is so good. So for me, I'd put it in brilliant.
Yeah, of course. Man, I would be tempted to put it in Dorty, but let me think. No, I think it's the antagonist, or like just the opposition. Yeah. Of course, there's the whole internal opposition. It's a kids movie. You don't have to psychoanalyze it that much, but you know what I'm saying. There's the internal opposition of like yourself, and he's so apprehensive to getting along with other people, so that's why all that kind of shit. But I would put it in Dorty, no, but I think it's brilliant for sure. It's not Dorty.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. One thing, like, to get too fucking deep about Toy Story. Toy Story doesn't really have an out and out villain for me.
Yeah,
I just think the two main characters, the two good guys, Buddy and Buzz, are like each other's antagonists. That makes sense.
There is a certain, like, there is an agreement there, but there is a rivalry that I feel like persists. No, in a good way.
Anyway, last but not least,
right. I need to stand up for this. I'm gonna stretch for this one. Hang on. Oh no. Okay.
Last but not least, I'm gonna put my handbags down for this crap. Next up, we've got Wall-E.
Now I'm just let the people know your pathetic caveman incorrect fucking opinion.
Okay, right. Okay. Wall-E, I'm gonna say this with my chest.
Yeah, your Wall-E tits, you fat fuck.
Wall-E is it's one of the worst.
It's fucking phenomenal.
It's one of the worst in Pixar's whole. What's it? This.
I don't know. You're hurting my ears, man. I'm wincing on this side of the call. Come on.
No, it's not for me at all. I was like, is it worse than Cars 2? I don't know.
No. Okay. So what is wrong with it?
What is wrong? I couldn't attach myself to it. I didn't enjoy the characters.
Okay.
I felt like the film was too long. It lacked motivation. It was pretty dull.
The motivation is the future of humanity.
Yeah, and like people, whenever I criticize the film and say it's pretty bad, that's what everyone says to me. It's like, oh, but look, it's about this. I'm like, I'm not talking about the grander meaning. I get the narrative, but does that make it an interesting film? No.
Okay.
I get the narrative between Ratatouille.
You just hate people. That's
people will always say to me, oh, but like, it's so good when he gets to like the in space when he's with all the people, you see all the fat people on. Yeah, but that takes like an hour to get into that bit. It's just the first hour of that film is so mind-numbingly boring. It's so boring. It's nothing happens, and like, I just don't think Wall-E himself is strong enough to be able to we've seen it before in other Pixar movies, like Toy Story, where it's just Buzz and Woody on their own, and like them characters are stronger enough to be able to drive that. For the first hour, it's just Wall-E and Eva, just saying Wall-E and Eva, and it's just my brain just switches off for that hour. I'll give it credit. The last act of that film definitely picks up, but I just don't think it warrants that last act. Dominates the whole film for me.
Okay.
Once again, if anyone disagrees with that and says it's good, that's completely fine.
Yeah. Someone disagrees with that, so sit down now and simmer up. So simmer down even. So I would say this is a fundamental difference of opinion. I have to assume it's raising or some kind of whatever has inspired us or collect. I'm not saying like you raised like shit. That's not what I'm saying. I mean like genuinely different mindsets about it. Personally, I really enjoy the message of like, well, it starts off with the consequences of humanity's actions, I suppose, which is, I think it's talking about the environment and sort of keeping shit clean and showing the repercussions is a very hard thing to sell to kids because kids don't fucking care. Kids are like, what the fuck? I'm gonna shit my pants now. Like what? It's, okay, not all kids do that. I was a weird kid. I didn't shit my pants. That was a joke. So the point being is like getting something like that into a kid's head, I think is incredibly important. I think Wally in of himself, little fucking junk box. And I think he's just a bit of a goof. He's a bit dumb. He's the last of his kind. I think there's an element of loneliness that is relatable to it in the movie. And just despite his, like you can see him stacking up like the skyscrapers of metal scrap. And it's that kind of like continuing on for the sake of it, just pushing on. I like that mentality as well. Then the juxtaposition of him and Eva, I think is interesting in the sense of like, this is all he has known. And now here's this fucking sexy ass oval who has completely turned his world upside down. And I don't know why. I think the junkiness of him versus how obviously clean and sleek and nice she is. And then him attaching feeling. I don't know if you'd say like because I feel like we've all liked people who are like out of our league kind of thing. And I feel like it's some similar sentiment of that. Where else am I going with this? I do like I'm just saying what I like about it. Just you said you didn't want to like, so I'm just going through it. But overall, I can go on for ages. We're at like 46 fucking minutes. Basically, we will never agree about this. I think it's a very cute little movie that brings up important points of the future of our people, environmentalism, which is a topic that today is still not properly given heed to. And I just think it's really cute. And as much as I could try to convince you to enjoy it, I can understand why you don't enjoy it. It's not for everyone, but I do like the message behind it, and I think it's very cute.
And it's one of those films that like I want to like all the Pixar movies, you know. But
Yeah.
and that's the thing. And for some people, if I say I don't like this film, the first thing people tend to do is like go, "Oh, you don't understand the message." That's not the point. I completely understand the message. I get the narrative.
Yeah, it's not a big grandiose point.
That's I get the symbolism. I watched it as a kid. I didn't really connect with it as a kid, like the other films. And then I watched it again as an adult to be like, maybe I was just too harsh as a kid. Maybe I just, I wasn't in the mood that day when I watched it or something, and watched it. And one thing I was like, it's a lot of the symbolism and a lot of that stuff struck me more as an adult than it did as a kid. But my overall experience with the movie, it's just not. It's just I spent half time switching off. From the film. I don't think Wally's he's a dibby.
He's like a minion. He is, of course.
He's a minion.
Okay, well, don't call him that. Come on,
you know what I mean?
Like, give him a bit more credit than a minion.
He's a lot cooler.
You may as well call him a domestic terrorist.
But I don't see him as being strong enough to be able to carry a movie like that.
I think if I could extrapolate some bullshit from what you're saying right now, I think you like more of like the human interaction and the stories between people, if you understand me, in these kind of movies, as opposed to with Wall-E. It's people aren't really the focal point of it. It's more like there's the big chubbo people in the space seats, but that's kind of like the culmination of what our generation, well, I guess what the modern era for us now would eventually end up being. So it's that kind of, there is a certain detachment with it, especially because the movie does expect you to relate to two robots that say all of 2 or 3 words, most of which are just like RTD2 like short circuit noises. But I do think it has a strong enough message, and I think I think cuteness though is the main driving factor. I don't think there's any grand. Absolutely. I will agree that there's no greater scheme. It's a pretty simple message of look after the planet, or we'll all be fat fucks flying around in space.
And once again, like going back to Pixar, absolutely smashing it with the character design and just overall, like the universe is so intriguing to look at. Like once again, collecting those boxes and putting them up, and you think, oh, that's so cool, and then you kind of look at it and go, actually, that's really grim.
Yeah, well, I think that's what I liked about it. I think I don't like to overuse this word, but just the juxtaposition of like his hopeful little ass in such a world of desolation. I just think there was a lot of things that I personally attach to. But I'm also much more, I feel like, not to like assume, but I do think I'm more interested in the likes of space, humanity's future as a whole, like where we're going, and just the sort of technology and post-apocalyptic again. That's just more
And
up
it,
my alley, I think.
and it kind of goes back as well to just you're probably less. I mean, like if you like more human interaction kind of stuff, it just kind of goes into what you're into. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of
Like
course.
maybe this film isn't for me, and that's kind of it. Once again, I don't hate it, but I just don't think
You
it's.
just
I see.
didn't attach to it.
I don't hate it, but I just see a lot of people put it in the category of Toy Story month, and I'm just like, no, that is just, it's so far from them.
Okay.
That's my problem.
Now,
So
I will say, if you put it in anything less than good,
yeah,
our friendship is over.
I'll compromise here and put it in good
Thank you.
because
right.
I'm looking now and I'm like, I'd rather watch it sooner than Cars 2. So
Now, true. Let's just have a quick re-examine here. Are we happy with this list? I don't. The brilliant category is looking a bit chunky, if I'm honest
It's
with
a
you.
bit chunky. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can go back and now for me, I'd probably drop. That's what I'm saying. I'd drop Cars 1 down to good.
I was just gonna say, even though the meta of the Cars universe is very interesting, that's all background shit. In terms of the movie itself, yeah, it's good, but it's not one of as you say, it's not one of the ones I'd be jumping to watch again.
So will we drop Cars
I
down?
think we can drop Cars to good.
And that's what I was saying. I was like, I say once we can put other films beside that, we'll realize how okay that film is.
Incredibles. Is it a brilliant? I'm just thinking about Up and the emotional impact of fucking Up and like Coco and Ratatouille, and like Incredibles was cool, but I don't know if it was like.
Yeah, I'd rather watch all these other films before I watch Incredibles. To be honest,
100%.
Incredibles is really good. It
was very good, but but like the word sticks in my mind of good, not brilliant. What do you think?
I'd drop it. I think on my original list I put Incredibles in good.
All right, I think we drop it. And after that, I think I'm pretty happy.
I'm pretty happy, yeah. I am. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what
now, everybody listening at home, I just want to say, if you disagree with this list, fuck you. I don't honestly care. You can tell Ryan all about it. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. But no, actually, dude, tell us in the comments what you think, if you agree, if you think this is a war crime on the cinema world. But yeah, and that's us. That's good.
That's our final list there, guys. Last look at it there. That's our list. Let us know what you think. I must get on to the films I haven't seen.
Yes.
And reevaluate this list maybe in the future. Who knows? But for now, I'm pretty happy with that list as it is, boys.
Yes. Now, anyway, we have gone quite a long while with this now.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I want to start this early because I knew how long.
I'm looking at 53 minutes, Ryan.
Oh Jesus!
And I'm pretty sure I actually started this late, as is customary.
Sure,
so, There's another couple of. Do you know what? There's two things I'll say super quick. Actually, is there anything else now you want to say before I ramble?
Man, I think I have a few more, but I'll save that for the next episode.
I'm gonna save the more pop culture shit for next week.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna say one thing. Charles Geschke, if that's his name, died at 81, and he is the co-founder of Adobe. And by extension, you could say he's the co-founder of Adobe Flash Player. And I was thinking, I mean, and also Flash Player died this year. I'm pretty sure, like as of the start of this year, it was officially gone and dead. So I was just thinking about Flash games, man. Maybe that's next week. Maybe next week we'll do a tier list on Flash games.
Maybe, that'd be cool.
I'm just gonna quick fire a few out. Bin Weevils, Club Penguin, Moshi Monsters, Fancy Pants Adventures, Throw Paper. You know, you have to do the fucking throw it into a bin. Steal the Diamonds and all that shit, where it was like the click and point adventures. Bowmaster. Then there was like, Stick Page. I remember I don't know if anyone's ever remember this shit. Well, I one period in my life when I was a kid and I didn't have any consoles yet. I loved this page called Stick Page, and it was just fucking stick men kicking the shit out of each other. But then there was also stick women with stick tits. So very questionable altogether.
I used to love Game Fudge. That was my
Game Fudge. Mini Clip.
Game Fudge. Mini Clip.
Can't forget Mini Clip. What was the other one? Oh, there's so many. Anyway.
I can't remember.
Newgrounds. Did you ever play Newgrounds?
Newgrounds was great.
I played Newgrounds, but then I clicked on one game and I realized it was like a porn, like fuck this woman game.
Oh no.
And I was 12, 13.
Yeah.
So I very quickly was like, my goodness, I need to never go back to this site.
Oh, that's mad.
What else was I going to say? Another thing, this is just a weird one now. Macaulay Culkin and Brenda Song
Yes,
who Home
I
Alone
saw
kid
this.
and London Tipton are. I didn't even know they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but they are having a child,
Yeah,
and that's just kind of fucking insane to
that's
me.
that's mad to even think
And
like
I was
that.
gonna
Like
have
the
a
Home Alone kid.
what the fuck, like
I know that's
he's
so
40 and
mad.
she's 33, but
Yeah,
I just remember seeing it, and it's just one of those like double take, like wait, what the
I
fuck? What are
know.
you talking about?
I
What?
heard a while ago they were going out, but like that's just mad. Like,
Isn't it?
but
It made
yeah,
me
like
think of a live action show. Well, actually, we're going to do that. I think we'll do that next week. I think we'll
next
talk
week.
about the live action shows that we used to love from the
Mm-hmm.
likes of. I remember I
Yeah,
was to say one. Remember Mr. It's technically live action because it's puppets. Remember Mr. Meaty?
oh man, I don't have that. I'm not emotionally ready to talk about Mr. Meaty
All
yet.
right. We're saving the
Next
next week.
week,
Okay. Next week.
week.
Tune in,
I'm
everyone.
not ready. I'm
Grip
not
onto
emotional. Oh
your loved
Jesus,
ones.
I'm not
Carry
gonna
a
sleep.
knife.
I'm not gonna
Anything.
sleep tonight now.
Oh my god, Mr. Meaty. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to say now, Ryan. It's going to be quick, but it is a bit of
Okay,
a serious meme. I can't even, in all honesty, call it a meme.
okay.
So your man. Remember George Floyd?
I sadly.
Sadly, now
Mm,
the Derek Chauvin, your man who fucking like kneed him in the neck. His case is ongoing,
mm-hmm.
right? I was going to say I found out his defense attorney is the same guy who got off Geronimo Yanez from killing the guy Philando Castile. First of all, with respect to both parties, less so the cop, um, that sounds like a Star Wars scenario.
Yeah.
I must avenge Philando Castile and kill Geronimo Yanez. Like, what are these names? They sound so amazing.
Yeah.
It
What the
makes me
fuck?
feel like my name's Andrew. How fucking boring is that? Anyway, the point being of like, holy shit, man. I don't know if you're keeping up with any of this shit, but like I was watching stuff about it, and there's just so much wrong with America in
Yeah.
terms of this
It's
shit. Like there was a 20-year-old, like 2 years younger than us, 20-year-old Dante Wright was killed by a police officer. I don't know if you heard. Did you hear about that?
I heard briefly. It's one of those things that came up on my Twitter and stuff, and I was reading a bit about it, and I realized like I can't take any more
Oh
news.
man, it's like I had taken a break from news there. It's the only
Yeah.
reason I'm kind of gone
We
back
spoke.
up on it.
I think we touched on this in
We
a
did, yeah,
podcast or
just
two episodes
overconsumption.
ago. Just
It's really fucking it's
yeah.
bad. But my point being is just so this kid, and he, I mean, you can say it, he was a kid, 20 years old, like fucking hell. So the point was he was in his car, got stopped for I think it was a traffic violation, or he had an outstanding warrant. It's always something like that. So he's in the car. Whatever happens, he then tries to flee the scene in his car. So he jumps back in, tries to drive away, and this woman who's 20 years on the force, pulls out her pistol, shoots him, and then he drives for another couple of blocks and then crashes, bam, dead. Mother on the phone to him like 2 minutes beforehand. And there's this whole debate of people saying, like, well, what the police body of the state have basically said, she mixed up her taser and her pistol.
oh
And like,
Jesus,
what
that's
the
just
fuck?
like that's
20
just
years on the force, and you can't,
yeah.
like, a plastic yellow zappy gun versus a boom boom heavy metal gun.
Yeah, nah.
What
You
the
pick
fuck?
one touch and you're like, okay, this is not it, you know?
But it's just a greater thing to me where I question so much of like, why did he have to be shot or tased in any way? He had an
Yeah,
outstanding
exactly.
warrant, and sure he was fleeing. Okay, so the next, I assume he's not gonna like run away to Mexico. So the
Mhm.
next time he is stopped, which he will be stopped again, he is a black guy in America. Um, then you have that added charge. I don't understand why the police take it upon themselves in that country to be judge, jury, and executioner, like after like 10 minutes after meeting someone. You know?
Yeah, like let's say like let's use her argument against okay, let's say you were gonna use your taser, right?
Yeah.
Why using your taser to begin with? There was no need, you know, you know what I mean?
He
Like
like he fucks off, right?
you
Okay,
didn't need to use either.
for sure that looks bad on you, but this looks a hell of a lot worse, and it is a hell of a lot worse. And there's like the other thing. Then I don't know if you saw this video. There's a 42-year-old man called Jonathan Pentland, and he's like a military man. And there's a video that went viral of him harassing this black guy. I don't remember the guy's name now. That was getting harassed, but it was just this guy saying like, "You're in the wrong neighborhood. You shouldn't be here," and he was like bullying him out of the estate. And I'm pretty sure the guy lived there, or at least near, or like he had a reason to be there. But this bald ass like old boomer head like was just so adamant that he was a guy there to make trouble. And then the last one, Second Lieutenant Karen Nazario, who was that. Did you hear about that one? That was the guy that was he was a Latino black man. He was being followed by a squad car, and it was like very late at night, and he didn't want to pull. He wanted to pull into a well-lit rest stop because he has a concealed carry permit and all this kind of stuff. So he didn't want to pull off on the dark side of the road and have something go wrong. So he kept going. People are saying like, should have just listened to the officer. So he kept going off to a well-lit area, and then as soon as he pulls over, the cops draw both of their firearms, and you can see the video footage. They're pointing guns at him, and then by the end of it, he is just trying to calmly talk to them and say, "I did not feel safe pulling over the dark side of the road. I am listening to you, but I have the traffic violation. I think he had dice in the back of his mirror. He was saying like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I'm trying to relate and be like speak one-to-one to you guys." And they just would not have it. Pepper sprayed him, grabbed him, pushed him to the ground, pointing a fucking gun at the back of his head, being like, "You should be scared." Like, if you're a cop saying you should be scared, you should not be a cop. Because the last person anyone should be afraid of is a policeman, unless you are a criminal. So
literally, it's just one of the instilling fear. Like I feel that now. Like I like to think that, like I'd like to think that the guards here in Ireland are nowhere near as corrupt as they are there. But I think any police force in the world is, I just don't like any form of police force really. But I feel that sometimes when I'm out and I see a guard car, I'm like, oh shit, I need to watch what I'm doing. Even though I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I still feel that, oh shit, like, am I okay? Am I doing all, Or if you're driving and you see a police car beside you, and I go, shit, like,
shit,
doing nothing wrong.
It's like I remember seeing a thing ages ago, and it was like the fact that we see a police car in like the rear view mirror or whatever, and we think, oh shit, is such a, instead of like, oh cool, police here. I don't have to be worried. I'm not. Safe hands, the fact that it's, especially for people of color in America, it's like, it's such a, I don't know. It's just, how do you expect these people then to live normal lives and deal with the police respectfully?
It's just,
how
it's
far
unfathomable. Like just,
how far are these people from being radicalized? And that's why people say like, oh, they just want an excuse to riot and kick shit over. And it's like, but what would you do? If you're like going through, if you're the people who are taking an oath and are being hired and being paid to quote unquote protect you, are gunning down your cousins and brothers and mates, and like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? Just sit there and go, this sucks. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's just all of this shit going. All these couple of stories came out. I think in this period of time, all while the Derek Chauvin defense case against killing George Floyd is all going on. And it just blew my mind that in this duration of time of such a high profile case, that all of this other shit could be going on. And I don't know. It's just like, can they fix themselves? Like, are they so far gone as a country?
Cause.
Do you know what I mean? And I hate to write off countries, like, because it's obviously it's racist, but like, I don't want to go to America, man. I really don't.
It terrifies me.
The thought of it, like, I would genuinely expect to get shot going there. Not even
literally how it works.
And like being a paced little white leprechaun, I don't know. Anyway, I always love ending the podcast on such a such a like dour, and I'm just making up words now, just like a somber kind of note. But I just think it's important again to highlight like all this shit's going on. So anyone listening, thank you very much. Help out for these causes. There's plenty of causes looking around. I'll have a look for some that are relevant to what I'm talking about, because my brain's like in 30 different directions. Thank you very much for listening. Ryan, is there any closing sentiments you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, just guys, thanks for tuning in. Use our Whopper Buzz. New episode every week. Should have another episode up next week. Let us know what you think about our tier list. Put your keep your pitchforks down, guys. I know I'm sorry about the whole Wally thing. And to all the Cars 2 fans out there, I'm sorry. You know, let us know what you do, any changes that you'd make, and and if we should amend it in the near future. If get a petition going.
Yeah, just talking to the Cars 2 people. Just make sure you list yourself as a Cars 2 person, so that way we can just send your email straight to spam. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. Anyway,
guys,
you sign us out, Ryan. Go on.
We're going to say, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Should have another episode up next week. Use our Whopper. Keep doing what you're doing, like and share and all that stuff. Use our daily. And on behalf of me and Andrew, we'll see you next time.
Talk to you.